Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Of course, through the first 3 weeks of the Saints season, I'm not sure there's been a bigger topic than the offensive line and some of the issues and how they might improve. There might be a few better people to ask than our next guest. 12 NFL seasons, of course, was the starting left tackle on the Saints Super Bowl team back in 2009. He was a former fourth-round draft pick. He is Jermon Bushrod. Great contributor there at Fox 8 as well. You see him all throughout the preseason. He's good enough to join us now. Jermon, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
Man, good afternoon. I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. I'm blessed.
Man, we appreciate it. Let me just start kind of from the beginning. I mean, you got to follow this team obviously a lot through the preseason, doing a lot of your analysis work and analyst work. Did you foresee some of these issues then?
I believe that, kind of just going back to the preseason and just being able to kind of be a fly on the wall at practice, and then seeing some of the, obviously seeing the preseason games, you kind of should understand that it's definitely going to be some type of a learning curve for a couple of guys on the offensive line. But as a group, this group has had success over the years, and when you got to plug and play and get new players in here, it could be a little bit of an adjustment. But it's been a little tough so far this season.
Your path, I think, is similar to what we're seeing with, not exactly the same, but similar with Trevor Penning, right? You were at Towson. Penning was at Northern Iowa. So you come from a small school into the NFL. But you had a couple of years before you became a starter in 2009 on that Super Bowl team. Penning is right there now in year 2 after missing the bulk of last year. What is realistic, Jermon? How quickly did you feel like you were ready to be a starting left tackle in the NFL?
I think our situations, were obviously the same, when you look at the years, but then, what's expected of a player? I was a 4th-round pick. Did they expect me to come in and start? As a first-rounder, if you're not starting that first year, they're looking for you to be a key contributor, at least for that second year. And but this league, this league is tricky. It's not college, right? And when you are from a smaller school, I was a 1AA. You're talking about where Trevor Penning's from. You're not getting that SEC type of competition week in and week out. So it's definitely going to be some adjustments. I mean, listen, these are the best of the best when you're talking about pass rushers, guys who have strength, speed, and honestly, some of them have all of that. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and having a chance to really go back to see this last game just to focus on him. I see him getting better from the preseason, week 1. He had his bumps and obstacles that he had to face early on in the season. You see it a little bit more in the second game. But I go back and I look at this game. Rashawn Gary was tough. He's one of the best pass rushers in this league. But I saw some good reps out of this team that left me encouraged, like especially in that 2-minute drill. Like this is the time where I got to have that protection, right? I got to have I got to give Jameis a pocket so he can do his maneuvering towards the end of the game. And I was really encouraged to see that. But, as a whole, it gets frustrating because it's like, certain guys will take their turn here and there. And, it's just really a fight to be as consistent as possible. I think they're close. We just got to put it all together.
Jermon, you mentioned good reps for Penning and then the offense in that 2-minute drill. Are you seeing that more are the good reps coming in run blocking or in pass protection or both?
So, I think the hot topic or what people, really are concerned about is the pass protection, right? So I'm talking about the end of the game, the fourth quarter, when, Love and the Packers really get that momentum swing. They didn't have it for over 3 quarters, right? And then they get it through some big penalties in the fourth quarter. And the next thing you know, he was able to finally deliver the ball and put it in places where his receivers could consistently catch the ball, right? But for our guys, it's about, this is the time where the pack they're coming, right? Like, it's a 2-minute drill. We need to put points on the board. And when I saw those reps that the offensive line were able to protect for Jameis, not even the starter, I left encouraged. But it was definitely, it was tough to see some of the reps earlier on. But that's why we get back to the drawing board and have another opportunity this week.
Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler Jermon Bushrod is our guest. We saw Hurst a year ago play for 2 seasons, play left tackle. Is there any thought to Hurst, if he's a better option at left tackle today, playing him there, moving Penning to guard? Or maybe a better question, Jermon, is how easy or realistic would that even be if you wanted to make that kind of shuffle?
I can say this: it's not easy. Realistic at this point of the season, I don't think that's a realistic goal for this team. Only because you're talking to somebody who went from left tackle to right guard, so it was an adjustment. When you look at Penning's body frame and the way his feet are moving, he has the tools to play this tackle position. I just think it's going to take some time on task, and I see a guy who, obviously, they talk about the run blocking, but if blocking is we need you to pass block as well, and I think this guy is coming along. Like, I see his hands striking a little quicker, striking a little bit firmer. He's got to fight to be more consistent with that, and when he does, this conversation won't even be had again, because I think he does have everything he needs to protect, the quarterback's blind side. But it's going to take a little time. So I hope, obviously, as a Saints fan, myself and as a former player, you just want to see him continue to just keep going up.
So that's a great point. So you do see what the organization sees in Trevor Penning as a guy who can be a franchise left tackle.
Yes, that's what they drafted him for. You look at his measurables, you look how long the guy is, you look how strong he is. I think he does have everything you can possibly want as a team to play left tackle. Now, guard is a position that could possibly suit him later on down the road, but right now, this guy has to play tackle because this is what you've been training this individual to go out there and play. So tackle is it. And if he continues to get better, like I said, we won't have this conversation later on if he's able to continue to grow as a player.
So you said something in your previous answer, Jermon, and I'm glad you went there, where you talked about the challenge of even moving from one side of the line to the other, left to right. We saw when Cesar Ruiz was injured, we saw Hurst go from left guard to right guard, and Andres Pete went in at left guard. So we don't know Ruiz's status for this week yet. He's in the concussion protocol. But what about that shuffle? Because I think everyone's searching for an answer, right? And that's natural. So I guess a better way to ask it, Jermon, do you stick with the status quo, or do you try to shuffle the deck a little to see if you can find a better match on either side of the line?
Well, honestly, what a luxury it is to have somebody like Hurst who can really go from, we just had a conversation about Hurst going from left guard to left tackle, but then he goes in and he fills in from left guard to right guard, and he's that versatile where you can put this guy on the line and he can fill in at 4 different spots. But then, you see him go over to right guard, and then you see Pete come in at left, and it takes some time, right? It takes some time to go from left to right. It's all timing. It's all repetition. It's all preparation. So he hasn't been getting any. I feel really good about saying this, but he hasn't been getting any reps on the right side. I would assume, being that he's been the starter, and then you go plug this guy right in, and it takes a couple plays to get adjusted to. The same with Andres Pete, but then you see Hurst kind of get back to his ways at that right guard position as well. It's all about timing, getting your feet down, and being in the right place. But, Hurst is really a luxury. So it's like you're so thankful that you have a guy like him on your line.
I got a couple more. When Ryan Ramczyk got his deal, he was, I think we would all, the consensus was the best, or certainly one of the best right tackles in football. When you watch him right now, Jermon, it looks like everybody's struggling out there. What are you seeing with Ryan Ramczyk?
I thought the first 2 weeks he played pretty solid. He played pretty solid. Last game, it seemed like Rashawn Gary was on. He was really on one when you sit back and watch the game, and his style of play can be tough for the type of offense we have. We want to be able to keep our guards firm, and we want to be able to get those ends around the edges, right? And you have somebody who's like of the likes of Rashawn Gary, who's he's taking a one track, right, from point A to point B. He's going right towards the quarterback. He has good power, and then he has the ability to get on your edge. So these are some things that I don't continue to see. I don't think it's going to continue to happen out of Ramczyk. It was a tough game, and I really respect his game, right? And he's been really a solid piece of this line. But I think this is a guy who's going to end up coming back, bouncing back, having a good game against the Bucks. But it just like we were talking about earlier. It just seems like every other series, it was somebody who was taking a turn, not being able to do their job to the best of their ability. And listen, I've been there, so I know the feeling when you feel like nothing can go right, and as a line. So you just got to really get back to the drawing board. And I hate how cliche sometimes that sounds, but at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Figuring out how we're going to go out here and win this next game and be at our best.
Is that so? Last thing, and your time very much appreciated. I'm glad you went there. It's almost like you have my questions in front of me, and you know which way I'm going. But there's been a lot of talk about Doug Marrone. Of course, your former teammate Jari Evans is an assistant helping with the staff. How much of this, the opportunity to get this right falls on the coaching staff to figure this out? How much is it the guys just executing better?
I think obviously I know Doug and the relationship that him and I have had and how he's helped me grow, and I know how detailed Jari is and how much how he approaches the game and the level of preparation that he used to put in. So I know he's doing that now. So it's a combination, right? The coach's job is to coach and put our players in the best position possible, and as a player, individually we got to be at our best, right? But then individually, if we're doing our job to the best of our ability, cohesively, we'll be able to get our job done better if we're all on the same page, if we're all understanding of what needs to be done, where's our help, understanding who has the one-on-one, this block. And I went back and looked at the Packers game. I just got finished watching it 30 minutes ago, and they were giving us 5-0 looks a lot. So that's pretty much one-on-one. Those are things that the whole offense has to understand, like, okay, like there's no slide protection. Everybody's one-on-one. It's like pretty much pass rush that you guys love to watch in training camp. It's stressful on the O-line, right, because some of those times you get 3-on-2s, and then the other side is like, okay, we gotta get ready, and we got to do our one-on-one blocks here. But I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's about the coaches making sure that they're continuing to, and I know I've been in that Saints building on the other side of football, so I know the preparation that they're putting in. It's a little bit of both, though. It's coaching and players going out there and finding a way to get it done.
He is former Saints Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler, Jermon Bushrod. Jermon, this is great, man. Thank you so much for the time. Let's do it again, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me a holler, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.